Hello, fine people of YouTube. It is I, the old geek, and I'm here to have a little look at a magazine again. White Dwarf this week, but one thing I have noticed, as White Dwarf is still operating at 6 issues per year, and the Dragon is now on 12 issues per year, the dates on my White Dwarf magazines have sort of accelerated a little ahead of the Dragon. So we're on October, November 1978, and we're still in the midst of summer with the Dragons. So I might have to do a few Dragons in a row just to bring back a proper chronological order. But hey ho, these little things are sent to try us. Anyway, let's have a little look at this. Let's see what they had for us back in 1978. This was around the time of my 7th birthday. Still 60 pence. We have a breastplated warrior with a crossbow mounted on the back of a prehistoric, vicious looking bird. Marvellous. Yeah, I don't mind that picture at all. Okay, it's... Ooh, there's a body down the bottom. Yes. Don't mess. Don't mess. Nice and colourful and bold. No problem with that picture at all. Is it oil painting? Does look like it's been done on a canvas, so it looks like an oil painting. Right, this issue, the Lway, Experienced Traveller and Foresters. Okay. And we kick off with adverts, as usual. And more adverts. And more pictures of miniatures. Did these ever really encourage you to buy the miniatures when you saw these badly reproduced photographs? I don't know. Valley of the Four Winds. Okay. More adverts. Lots of miniatures. 20 pence for a were snake. Look at this. 20 pence for a were snake. 45 pence for a large hill troll. Judges Guild. Okay. Some of these names recognisable. There we go. Here we go. We're up to page 5 for a contents page. In recent months, there have been a growing number of letters and articles published in various magazines concerning realism in fantasy role-playing games. A few individuals seem to think that myriad die rolls, your English, it's dice in British English, die is the American. A few individuals seem to think that myriad die rolls and reference to volumes of charts and tables will result in a realistic game, but at the expense of what? Fun and enjoyment. Okay, right. Yeah, realism's the wrong word. Verisimilitude is the word to use. And whether you achieve that verisimilitude, that inner logic, through making it up as you go along, or mechanics, or tables, or whatever, it's completely up to you. I find that I'd rather not resort to a lot of tables while I'm playing to create randomness in a game world. I know that's against the philosophy of a lot of old schoolers who like to roll on a table in the middle of a session, but I'm not saying I don't do it, but I don't overdo it. If I'm running MERP, for example, with MERP's encounters and whatever, I've got things pre-rolled most of the time beforehand. So these things are planned out, but they're largely randomly generated, but they're done in advance. Right, okay, let's have a little look. Cover illustration by Christopher Perigo. Okay, well done, Christopher. That's not a bad picture. The Experienced Traveller, incorporating experience into Traveller by Mike Ferguson. News, Fiend Factory, Monster Mark, Molten Magic, Valley of the Four Winds, The Lway, a complete mini dungeon. Calgar, that's the cartoon strip. Open Box, science fiction, fantasy games reviews. Foresters, Treasure Chest, Foresters, CNS, Chivalry and Sorcery, character type by Trevor Clark and Ed Symbolist. And help! Okay, all right. You can see what we're looking at, 24 pages on here. I'd imagine there'll be a few adverts and a back cover, so you're looking at 26, 28 pages. It's about 10 shorter than the Dragon is at this point. But if the content's good, it doesn't matter too much. I'd like to see it at 32 pages, but hey-ho. Hey-ho. The Experienced Traveller. Right. It's sci-fi. I've been told by numerous people that I'd probably get on okay with Traveller because it can be used for a more down-to-earth game. I'm not really one for sort of very high fantasy sci-fi. With the techno babble is the word. I wouldn't mind playing a futuristic game in like a very rustic sort of frontier setting. It's all the planet hopping and zapping and big gadgetry that I don't enjoy. But I believe Traveller can be used for a variety of futuristic games. It doesn't have to be planet hopping. Anyway, so one thing I was disappointed with in Traveller was the lack of any suitable substitute for experience. Once your character has been diced for, the only thing he can earn is enough money to allow himself to sink gracefully into senile decay. That's a worthwhile aspiration. It's the way I'd like to go. The limited self-improvement given in Book 2 is both time and money consuming. I have not yet had a player in my campaign willing to sacrifice so much for what is really so little. I guess that's a subjective thing. At least you can develop your character. I rather like Chaosium's Call of Cthulhu system, where one aspect of your character is constantly declining, but as you're using your skills, you have a chance to improve them if you use them successfully. I think that's quite good, but your hit points never go up. Never go up. But hey ho. I don't know enough about Traveller to pass any real judgment on that. So let's head towards the news bit. At last, the long-awaited Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook has been released and is available on both sides of the Atlantic. Huzzah! TSR have also released 6 dungeon modules, which are ready-made dungeons of varying levels. Okay, so Against the Giants, G1, G2, G3, D1, D2, and D3? Were they all released together? I thought D3 was a bit later. Maybe I'm wrong. I know G1, G2, and G3 were the first 3 to come out. D1, D2 almost immediately afterwards. Did D3 come out at the same time? I don't know. If that's the case, they are not ready-made dungeons of varying levels, unless you assume level 8 to 14 really, really varying, because it's all high-level stuff. All very high-level stuff. If it's low-level characters, sod you, you'll be waiting a while for the Village of Hamlet. Alright, lots more news. I'm just flicking through the bolded bits to see if any of it don't really jump out to me. Right, okay. The Fiend Factory. What we got? Look. Monster Mark. Still there. Piss off. What's this bit over here? A few readers have asked that I include mention of the intelligence of each new monster. Oh, right, okay. So these are intelligent ratings. Good. Worthwhile for a DM to know, to give some consistency and some idea of how to portray the monster. What are the monster's objectives? What are its motives? Why will it attack? obviously, if it's an animal, hunger, defending territory. If it's a bit more intelligent, it might have more of a purpose. There we go. Okay. Itchy nose. Right, let's have a look at these monsters. We've got the Svart. Yes, the little blue goblinoids with big fat heads that appeared in the Fiend Folio and were used in UK2, the Sentinel. Mediary between goblins and kobolds, and will generally attack the latter, though they will unite against their common foe, hobbits. Hobbits delight in staging combats between groups of Svarts and kobolds. I didn't know that little snippet. That could be amusing. It makes you look at hobbits in a different light. But notice they're being called hobbits and not halflings here. I like Svarts. I do. I do like them. They are odd. This stupid font. Duck. Ah, it's the Daikon. Daikon. Yeah, awful bit of art for that. It's pretty pathetic. These were in the Fiend Folio. I remember them. Big, lawful, intelligent apes. Yep. I never used them. I'm off. Don't know what that is. Tentacly monsters. I like tentacles. Me. Oh, it copies. It's like a lump. Look at a lump of snot that copies the visual appearance of whatever it's fighting. Maybe something like that. Whatever. That could be fun. Whipper. You whippersnapper, you. A whipper is a plant, therefore susceptible to control plants. Yeah, okay. It's a plant that whips its tendrils out of you. The base is destroyed, the plant dies, but the two stalks go into a mad frenzy for one melee round, during which they do double damage if they hit. After this, they die. Don't you kill me! That could be quite good fun. That didn't make it into the Fiend Folio, though, did it? Stair Stalker. Imagine the purpose of this monster. Its life is spent walking upstairs and downstairs, stalking. An emerald-hued, shaggy humanoid with an obsession for staircases. It is never found anywhere else. So, are they really that dangerous? Because if you avoid staircases, they won't bother you. All pretty pointless to me. That's they admit this is, of course, a wildly silly creature, but interesting and amusing for all that. Potentially amusing. Interesting? No, not really. Flying fish. At least assume it says flying fish. Yeah. There's a fish in the middle between the L and the Y that makes it look weird. Blood drain? Poison? Is it like a manta ray or something? I don't know. Gigantic lungfish which secretes hydrogen, thus enabling it to fly. Don't have a problem with that. What is you? Oh, it's urchin. Font is horrible. They were in Fiend Folio and I never used them, and I'm even less likely to use them now with that stupid font. Umplebee, another Fiend Folio monster, big hairy humanoid things. Yep, remember those. Nasnas resembles a human being divided in half longitudinally. It has one leg, one arm, half a head, half a body, and half a hit die. English. The singular die has been out of use in British English since before the writers of this were born. They're just trying to copy the American. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really interested in that one. I guess if you have a really, really stupid campaign. Attack 1d6 or 1d7. Right. You get 1d7s for DCC nowadays, don't you? But how would you roll a 1d7 in the old days? Do know. Answers on the postcard. Right, yeah, get rid of Monster Mark. Molten Magic. A completely pointless feature. Though it does look like the photographs are getting slightly more detailed, slightly better. But still, it's a pointless feature with nothing in the way of explanation. Games Workshop presents Games Day 4, Britain's premier games convention in London. I wouldn't have been able to go even if it was only 30 pence for the day. Valley of the Four Winds by Roland Flynn. Chapter 2. Oh, is this some fiction that was in the previous edition? Previous issue? I can't remember. Hero and Percio attack the Swamp Lords. Illustration by Dick Higgs, designer of the Valley of the Four Winds range of figures. Is this a piece of fiction that only exists to advertise a range of figures? There was an advert earlier on in the magazine, wasn't there, about Valley of the Four Winds figures on the first few pages? Yes. Sneaky. Not reading it. A map? Oh, here we are, the Lway. A mini dungeon for a party of 6 to 8 first level adventurers. That is exactly what magazines need. Low level adventures to give new DMs, new players some content to learn the game with. It's no coincidence that my most played adventures are the low level ones, because you start at low levels. That's where all characters go through, meant to go through low levels. So these are the ones you play. I must have run Sinister Secret of Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh 5 or 6 times. It's a great way to start a campaign. I have the Serpent 3 times, Village of Homlet several times as well. These are where campaigns begin, low-level adventures, and that's what I want to see in magazines. Excellent. I've no idea how good this Lway is, but I'm going to give it a big thumbs up for even existing. I'm not going to read through it yet, but I'd like to read through it at some point. See if it's worth using. Some stats and stuff. Sisyphus. That's another Fiend Folio Monster. Sisyphus. A bit strong for a low-level adventure. 88 hit dice. Yeah, okay. I'm guessing there's a way to avoid it. But yeah, was it 3 pages of adventure? Good, nice and concise and usable. Calcar, not reading. Haven't read any of the previous ones. Let's go to Open Box. This is all the reviews of new stuff. Superhero 44 by Zocchi. Using this 36-page set of rules, you can either be the saviour of the world or public enemy number 1 by recreating your favourite comic book characters. Oh, good. Yeah, okay. They give it 6 out of 10. The rules are well worked out and cover most eventualities with clear examples. On the other hand, this is not a game for maths and table shy GMs, as everything is down to modified probabilities. Okay. Yeah, so it's early nerds. Maths are good. Maths. More maths. That's what it was like. Legions of the Petal Throne. Wargame Rules for Empire of the Petal Throne. Okay, from TSR. Right. So that's battle system, effectively, 6 or 7 years before AD&D did their battle system. Fine. Okay. Oh, do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Dungeon modules. Dungeon modules are where my channel began, reviewing the old school dungeon modules. I love them to bits. They're all my stories from the past. I used to use them all the time. And these three, G1, G2 and G3, one of the first modules I owned was the G1, 2, 3 Against the Giants compilation, and it's magnificent. It's magnificent. Whether I would rate as highly as individual purchases the three separate ones, probably not, because they are quite brief, but they are masterful in their construction. And the G1, 2, 3 trilogy packed into 32 pages, it's fantastic. It's a really, really good series. So first AD&D Adventures, first reviews in White Dwarf of them. Here's a bit of history. Don Turnbull gives them 9 out of 10. I'm guessing that's for each one individually. I can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that at all. Maybe with a bit of hindsight, having seen some of the adventures that came out afterwards, you might drop it to an 8 for the, but still very high marks. I think I gave the compilation 10 out of 10 for the compilation for all three together. Fully deserving. Citadel of Fire, Judges Guild. Another D&D play aid from Judges Guild. An ex-organisation which has built up a reputation for reasonable quality and inventiveness. Really reasonable. Okay. 6 out of 10. I suppose that's reasonable. That classifies as reasonable. Foresters. This is that thing for chivalry and sorcery. I don't know much about chivalry and sorcery, how close it was to D&D. Was it level based or whatever? From the new Chivalry and Sorcery sourcebook, we extract with permission a new character type developed to fill out cross-country adventures. The foresters must be born from the countryside, and townsmen are excluded from following this vocation. Hold on. No, it doesn't say if. Foresters must be born to the countryside, and townsmen are excluded from following this vocation. Since the life requires good physical conditioning and reflexes, foresters possess a minimum of 12 strength, constitution, and dexterity. Okay. So, Chivalry and Sorcery, was that an OD&D supplement? Was it? Let me know. I will admit my pre-1980 rules knowledge is, well, shall we say, pre-AD&D. So that was, Player's Handbook came out in late 78. So before that, my rules knowledge is pretty poor. I've only ever read a dodgy PDF of White Box. I never saw the Holmes book. And all the supplements that came out for White Box, I don't know them. I have skimmed bits of them, but I don't know them. Right. It does look like it's a supplement, though, doesn't it? Okay, so this is oh, it's the complete character class. Complete character modifications. What can the forester do? Is it a character class or is it an NPC class? Fish encounter. RPG fishing. Got those sort of games on the PlayStation, don't you? You sit there. I am pretend fishing. I'd find that quite good fun. Angling contests. Okay. see any regular experience tables. So is it just like a background type thing? Hobbit foresters include only those hobbits who are black sheep, unconventional and inflicted with unrespectable wanderlust. Only yeoman hobbits qualify. They receive experience for fighting, but fight as non-fighters. Okay. Please, if you know about chivalry and sorcery, tell me more in the comments below. And if you've told me before and I've forgotten, I do apologise. I'm getting old. Alright, treasure chest, tricks and traps. Charmies, traps involving spells, especially illusory spells, are generally easy to create and can be deadly. The charm spell, however, can also be used to good effect in setting up traps depending on the charmee. A charmed and suitably pre-instructed paladin, established in a room, secretly observable by the controlling magic user, is especially likely to catch players unawares. After all, who is not going to trust a friendly paladin who heals wounds, etc.? Similarly, rangers and lawful good clerics can be used to advantage as charmees. And then when released from the charm, they must then carry out 2 years of self-flagellation as penance. I like that. I like that. Okay, yeah, some tricks and traps. Rebounding rescues. Is that when the person being rescued fights afterwards? Seesaw floors. Yeah. Disorientating rooms. Yeah. Suction room. Pandoran boxes. All the ills of the world were released when Pandora opened her box. The ancient Greeks would probably not understand what the euphemism box became. But it makes it all the more amusing. Right, okay. Useless items. I like things like this. Is the sort of thing I like. And this sort of table, I mentioned earlier about rolling on tables. This sort of table, if I've got handy, I'll roll on it and make something from it. Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, like that. A sack of stuffed voles, glass eye, a small wooden frog, a pair of odd socks. Copy of Greyhawk on 10 gold pieces a day. Octopus leg, lute string, troll tooth necklace, transparent eye patch. Pointless eye patch. Okay, instant abilities. Surprising how few DMs ever roll for the abilities of monsters of the character class variety. I don't think it's surprising at all. Why bother? Why not just make it up? Yeah, I know rolling can force you into making some different decisions. Make it up. If you're imaginative enough, just make it up on the fly. Is it all really that important? Are we going down the route of 5th edition with everything having stats from which saves are derived and skill checks? Don't need it. Focus on the players. Player succeeds. There you go. Help. Oh, this is all the like contact adverts. Homicide Bolton, Warsaw. Philip Robinson of 15 Brantwood Avenue, Chasetown, Warsaw, West Midlands. If you still live in the Warsaw area and still play games, I live on the border between Birmingham and Warsaw. Never know. Get in touch. If you're still out there. The odds of Philip Robinson actually seeing this video are very, very low, but it's worth a try. Halifax, Cambridge. Wanted another wargamer, preferably from England. I wouldn't mind Welsh and Scottish and Northern Irish. Doesn't have to be England. When you're in Ohio, or is it that you can't understand the Scots and can't understand the Welsh with their accents? There are worse accents in England, though. 1 to strategic reviews numbers 1 to 7, the Dragons numbers 1 to 3 and 5, and Trollcrusher. I don't know Trollcrusher. Let me have a little. I'll have to Google that one. D&D Windsor, D&D Warlingham. Warlingham's in Surrey. I didn't know where Warlingham was for a moment, but it is Surrey. Okay, so lots of people meeting up for D&D, which is good. Adverts. More adverts. And more adverts. And a Games Workshop advert. And big advert at the end, Sorcerer's Cave. Okay, so 28 pages. A lot of adverts. I think about half of that magazine was adverts. Obviously, they need adverts to survive. But it did feel like there were too many. And it might be because there were big chunks at the beginning and the end. But which is not too much of a problem. But just feel like there are too many adverts. There's the Valley of the Four Winds one. But in terms of the actual contents of the magazine, Fiend Factory was quite interesting, even with Monster Mark. Nice to see the Svart in there, though some of the monsters were bits. I mean, the Urchin, I've never used those. The Dacon's a massive fan. I can understand why some people like them, but I like to see the Svart. I do like those. Molten Magic's crap. News, interesting news. Where was I before I got rudely interrupted by screaming kids outside on their way home from school? How dare they interrupt my video filming? Anyway, why are their volume settings permanently set at 11? So the Lway, yeah. If I was to get 4 to 6 hours out of playing that dungeon, maybe longer, then that makes this magazine, makes this issue worth its price tag alone. And that's the sort of content I want to see. Foresters, flavourful, interesting. Treasure Chest was good at the end. Open box, some interesting reviews. Of course, the Against the Giants modules. So, yes, it feels like it feels lightweight compared to the Dragon because it's so much shorter. And about half the pages are made up of adverts. But what is in those pages looks generally to be pretty good. White Dwarf is back on the ball. Good edition. Well, I've been the Old Geek, and I'm going to get going. Hope you've enjoyed watching this. See you later.